Post, and in fact, if you have not put your name in your handle, do tell us what your name is, what is your holding period, that is, what is the duration that you intend to hold this investment for. If it is an investment, if it's a trade, do let us know that it is a trade. I'm going to start with a short-term query right on top. Actually, let me introduce you to our guests. We've got Kunal Bothra as well as Sharmila Joshi joining in, and good morning to the both of you. Kunal, the first question is for you, and it's a stock that is underperforming in trade today, Tata Consultancy Services. Ajay wants to know whether he can buy at the current market price for a period of 2 months.
Yeah, I think good morning. First of all, Alex, I think TCS is something which you can look at from a short-term view. The stock seems to be, perched at, very reasonable levels of 3,300. It's not as if the stock has gone through a very steep rally. So if you're in for the next 1 or 2 months, then you can look to buy TCS at current levels. And I think the target range which you can keep at, for TCS could be closer to 34.50, 34.75 on the upside, and stop loss for that could be kept at 31.80 mark.
This one is from Abhishek. He's saying that he has 1,000 shares of Zee Entertainment, which is purchased at 221 rupees per share. He wants to know what sort of a target can he look at for the next 6 months. Should he hold or switch to any other counter? Kunal, what's your take coming in on Zee Entertainment? What sort of target can Abhishek look at over the next 6 months?
See, I've been tracking the stock very closely, and I see a lot of potential for Zee Entertainment. But surprisingly, the stock has not lived up to the performance in the last couple of months, or rather the expectations over the last couple of months. But nevertheless, these large cap stocks, they have a tendency of going through sideways price action at a time when there is too much of expectations which weighs on to these names. And suddenly when the expectations come down is where the prices tend to go through a very strong period of an uptrend. So I think if you're in for the next couple of months at least, if not more, then I believe Zee Entertainment is something which you can continue to hold on. I have a target of closer to 275, 280 on the stock over the medium term. So I think with that kind of a time target is what you can look to hold on to the stock and use any kind of corrections which come along the way as a good averaging opportunity as well.
Okay, we've got a question coming in from Surya, and this is for you, Sharmila, on IDFC First Bank. A significant number of shares. I even hesitate to say it's 20,000 is what he says. It's a possibility that Surya, you've got 1-0 wrong. If that is the case, let me know. But you bought at levels of 47 and you're looking for the long-term outlook. Sharmila, even if it is 2,000 shares, it's a large chunk of shares to hold. What should he do with this?
This stock is at sort of a period where it didn't seem to move at all from that 35-40 level, and there was always expectation that it would deliver in terms of numbers. And then you got a phase where it did deliver, and then you saw the stock run up to this current level of about 54.60, and again now it seems to be undergoing some kind of consolidation here. So my only advice to him would be to keep his investment period longer. I didn't get what he had in mind, but I think you need to give it a couple of years, because the stock has seen a jump from those 30-35 levels to 60 levels, and now I don't think it's going to move in a hurry. So if you're expecting to make more money from this current 54-55 level that it's at, you'll need to give it time. So yes, the improvement has been seen in terms of the way their earnings and the kind of game plan that they have going ahead. So it's an interesting bank to be invested in, but I just think that in terms of stock price now you need to give it time.
This one is from Jasmeet Narula, saying for investment purpose, does it make sense to purchase Sterling and Wilson at the current market price for the period of 2 to 3 years? Sharmila, how does this counter look if someone wants to look for an investment at Sterling and Wilson at current market price? Does it make sense to hold on for the next 2 to 3 years? Fundamentals are deserving of that?
Yes, I think so. I think if you're looking at a 2 or 3 year period, you can buy this stock, and we have seen a lot of interesting investors getting into this stock. Again, I think this is a stock that has seen a run up and a bit of a correction from there. So I think 2 or 3 years period is perfect. I think you can buy this stock at current levels if that's the kind of investment horizon you have in mind.
Okay, Surya has clarified it is 20,000. I wish you well on that investment, Surya, and I hope that you've diversified your portfolio. I think a lot of the experts on this program will stress that you need to do that. Now, we've got a question coming in from Parth on Happiest Minds, and I'm coming to you on this one, Sharmila, as well. Parth is bought at levels of 349 and is looking for a long-term view. What would you suggest that he should do?
So I think first of all, congratulations. He's bought in at a very good price, and we've seen the kind of move the stock has made ever since its IPO. So I think yes, very interesting play in the IT space. I think what really attracted a lot of investors to the stock was the kind of management caliber that they have. And I think that's what you really need to keep in mind, when you stay invested in a stock like this. So I think, yes, you can definitely continue to hold the stock.
All right. The next query that we have is from Kaustubh. He's saying that he has Home First Finance, 28 shares, which he's purchased at 518 rupees per share. He's saying he can hold on for the next 6 months. He's saying it will be great if you could share your view on Home First Finance. Kunal, what's your take on this particular counter? Home First Finance, 28 shares Kaustubh has got at 518 rupees per share. He wants to know what to do with it. He can hold on for the next 6 months.
So it looks attractive on the charts, even though the history is a bit limited for the stock. I think just restricted towards the last 7 months or 6 months, if I'm not wrong. But then the price history seems to be very encouraging. In fact, in that 6 month kind of a time frame, the stock is forming an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and the breakout of this pattern is closer to 575, 580, which has been a sort of a multiple resistance stop for Home First Finance. So it looks attractive. The setup seems to be quite encouraging for the stock, and I think if the stock manages to break past about this 575 level, it could lead to a very strong uptake, almost a 20 to 25% upside for the stock in post that breakout level whenever that happens. So I would suggest a hold on the stock and keep a watch on that 575 levels. If momentum comes back into the stock, then I think you can even look to average out further on the rise beyond that breakout level.
Okay, I'm actually going to combine a couple of queries here, and I'm sure Cheryl will be okay with it. I'm going to first come to you, Sharmila, on Cadila Healthcare, and then in the same breath, I'm going to go to Kunal after that for Oro Pharma, which is on a tear, and Yash Chaudhary wants to know what to do about that. So first to you, Sharmila, what would you do with Cadila, Zydus Cadila, on the back of the latest announcement with regard to the vaccine particularly?
Yes, so I think that's like you hit the nail on the head. I think that's the sort of exciting development that we've seen in Cadila over the past 2 or 3 months. They've been talking about a vaccine as well as they've been talking about medicine, which is like a cure medicine. So I think given the fact that they seem to be now applying, they're taking it to the next stage, and they're asking for approval, etc. This seems to be a very interesting and exciting stock to be invested in. So yes, I think continue to hold and keep your eye on the news flow because that could definitely play a role in the way the stock price moves.
All right, pharma in focus today. Clearly, the pack is gaining. Last time I checked, the pack as a whole was up about 0.6%. But one of the outperformers has been Oro Pharma today. And coming to you on this one, Kunal, what would you suggest that Yash do? Should he get in at these levels?
So I think the reason for today's spike, we all know, has been on the back of some news flow for Aurobindo Pharma, and typically, what the markets have shown that in the last few weeks, whenever we've seen a single day, spike or a rise into the stock, the stock generally doesn't get a follow through price action. So the chart looks attractive. The setup seems to be quite encouraging, but it's just that with the news flow attached, we need to see confirmations of strong follow through price action for Aurobindo Pharma. So I would suggest that wait for maybe another day. If say by next week, first half next week, if the stock sees a strong follow through price action and say manages to cross 1010, 1020 odd mark, then I believe that could be a good confirmation for you to enter into Aurobindo Pharma. So I would suggest to wait for at least a couple of days before you enter into the stock.
This one is from Rishabh Batra, and we did not take his query yesterday. Apologies for that, Rishabh. But his query was he wants a near-term technical view on Trident Limited, possible price target for 1 to 3 months. Kunal, definitely this one is for you. Trident, he wants near-term technical view and also a target for 1 to 3 months.
See, I think the charts are a bit sideways for Trident, and it has this very unique knack of going through a short period of uptrend and a prolonged period of consolidation. So I'll give an example. I think the month of January or somewhere the stock had gone through December end in January 2021. The stock had gone through a very sharp uptick from 8 rupees, 8.5 rupees. The stock jumped up to almost 17, 18 rupees in a matter of one and a half odd month. And post that, it remained in a consolidation band for almost the last 4 months. Similar is the case in the month of May. The stock rallied from 12.5 levels to almost 18 plus in a matter of 1 month, and the stock is now going through a second month of consolidation. So I think if that's the case, then probably you can expect that the stock will consolidate for another 1 month. So if time is not an issue for you, you can hold on for, say, or you can increase your time horizon, say by another couple of months. Then I believe you can hold on to Trident, and with that, you can keep a target range of closer to 18.5 to 20 odd range for the stock.
Okay, the next one is from Mayank. He's saying he's holding 2,000 shares of Tech Wabag that he's purchased at 300 rupees per share, and also Ion Exchange. He's saying that particular counter has gone up from 1,500 to 2,400 rupees in the last 2 months. He wants to know, but can he add Tech Wabag for the next 2 years? So currently he already holds about 2,000 shares of Tech Wabag. He wants to know whether he can add on more. Kunal, makes sense to add on Tech Wabag?
I think so. You should. I would advise the viewer to hold on to the stock and even look to add on at current levels. I think the stock has confirming a breakout on multi-time frame charts, so weekly, monthly, even on the quarterly time frame. The stock is confirming some strong breakout signals. It's moved up in a very steady kind of a manner. It's not as if that the stock has gone through a vertical kind of an uptrend. And I think that's the highlight for stock like Tech Wabag. So I would suggest a hold from a longer term view. And specifically, if you're looking to average, then I think current levels as well, you can look to average further for the stock if you have a time horizon of 2 years and plus.
Okay, we've got another question coming in from Avinash, and this is on Chemcon Specialty. He says that he's been holding since the IPO, and he's bought at an average price of 505. He's wondering whether to add more, to hold, or to sell at the current price. So Kunal, coming back to you on this one, if you have enough data on this, or if you track the stock, can you tell us what to do?
Yeah, I mean the data is a bit of an issue over here because the history is a bit limited. But for Chemcon, I was in fact looking at the short-term charts the last couple of days back as well, and there was some very strong accumulation of volumes for Chemcon. So I think in the last 2-3 days, the average volumes had jumped up to almost 8.5 lakhs or 10 lakhs on an average. Prior to that, the volumes were just about 1 lakh, 1.5 odd lakh as an average volume. So which means that there are new participants who have started to enter into the stock, and which is why you're seeing the price action as well being quite strong. Now, ideally, the best way to try and trade these stocks is that wait for the dullness to come back into the stock. So these stocks have a tendency of going through sharp periods of short periods of uptrend, but those are very sharp in nature, where the volumes spike up and all of a sudden you see the volumes drying down and the stocks going through a consolidation process. That's the best time to try and look at entering into the stock. So I would suggest a wait and let the volumes dry down, let the price come back into a consolidation. That would be a good time to try and enter the stock.
Okay, the next query that we have is coming in from Swayam. I've kind of lost that query right now, but yeah, it's from Swayam saying that he has 2 lots, 1,000 shares call option of APL Limited, I believe it's Alembic Pharma, that he's bought at 18.65. 29 July is the expiry. I believe he wants to know what should he do with this. Kunal, what's your take? I think it is Alembic Pharma, 2 lots, 1,000 call option, 18.65.
Well, yeah, I think you can hold on to the stock over here. The stock is consolidating. So, in fact, the last 1 week or 10 days, it's been going through a patch where it's trading just marginally above the 200 moving averages. Both of the averages are flattened out. So the 200 moving average as well as the 50-day moving averages, both the averages are flattened out for Alembic Pharma. So, these are the stocks which generally, give you a very sudden kind of a breakout. So if that happens for Alembic Pharma, say because the July expiry, you have another good 20-25 days for that, and I think if that's the kind of a time frame, then closer to 1,000 level, if the breakout happens, you can look at even 1,050, 1,060 as a potential target range. So the rewards can be fruitful for the stock, but provided the stock breaks out of the 1,000 mark.
Sharmila, this is a case of holding on to a stock that has gone lower and lower. Mehul Rumala has bought 1,000 shares of Jain Irrigation at levels of 120, and the stock is just headed lower after that point. It's currently trading at 30.75. What should you do in such a situation? He's asking if we should average his cost purchase.
I think their financials are improving. So I think that's sort of the good thing that one can say about the stock. And I think that I think it's already close to its 52-week high, if I'm not mistaken. So I would probably just advise a hold, not to add any new further, to increase your position in the stock. But I think you can hold on to what you have, because they've been through this period where numbers were not good and we've seen the correction. But now it appears that things are improving for them. So give it another quarter, see whether it's sort of borne out, because now for a stock like Jain Irrigation, this is an important sort of these monsoon months, and the decisions taken for investment will be seen, and that could sort of mean good news for you going ahead. So continue to hold what you have, but keep an eye on the number.
This one is from Mr. K.R. Balan, saying that he has 500 shares of M&M Finance, which is purchased at 190 rupees per share. Should I hold it for a medium term, or look for any good stock in the financial sector or any other sector that has good returns? Sharmila, what should Mr. Balan do with his holding in M&M Finance? Makes sense to hold on for the medium term?
I think so, because once again, I think that with the onset of the monsoon, you will have, they have a significant presence in across, in a pan-India sort of a basis, and they would be providing finance for tractors and farm equipment, etc. So, that would be sort of the strong point of a company like Mahindra and Mahindra, which is the largest player in farm equipment. So you could see, sort of their business pick up once monsoons are good and things sort of go back to normal and things start opening up. Then you could see a demand for finance for their, these type of products, and M&M Finance could gain from that. So I would say for me the stock is a hold as of now, but his query is very broad based, so there would be a lot of other sectors and sort of companies which look good, but I think if you have M&M Finance, you can continue to hold it.
Okay, we've got Amit Ahuja, who's asking for a view on Bharat Dynamics, and he's looking for a short-term view. Stock is currently trading at 370, up about 2.5%. At this juncture, he's holding at 360 levels, which is not too far away from his from the current level. He's looking for a short-term view. Kunal, should he hold on?
Well, I would suggest to hold on. Looks attractive on the charts. Again, trading just marginally above the 200 and the 50-day moving averages. So that's a support point for the stock, and I think if the trend manages to resurface for the stock again, you could be looking at the stock hitting levels of 400 to 425 as well. So I would suggest a hold.
Okay, this query is from Sagar, and he's saying that this is one of my gem stocks. So he wants a view on SRF. He bought about 2,700 shares at 202 levels. He's been holding it from 2014, New Year Day to be very specific. He's saying that he actually broke his FD to enter the stock. It's rewarded him very well. So he wants to know if there's any negative factor which will have an impact on the stock in the short to, I beg your pardon, from medium to long term. And is it advisable for him to continue holding SRF for the next 5 to 7 years? Sharmila, what's your take coming in on SRF? Any negative factors that could affect this counter and make sense for Sagar to hold on to it for another 5 to 7 years?
Well, first off, I would just say, in general, sort of a word of caution that, when you start talking of holding on to a stock for 5 to 7 years, yes, at this point in time, it looks very well poised, but, you really need to keep tracking news and, results, etc. Because, things change very fast on the ground now, so those times are gone when you could allow your portfolio to, without, sort of check on what's happening, what are the trends, etc., for 5-10 years, and things would still be good. So that is the only caution that I have. SRF now is part of a sector which is really doing well, which is specialty chemicals. And the bulk of their capex going ahead is towards that. So I think, that's the good news from his point of view. He's bought it at a fantastic price. He's seen the right till now. So I don't really see any concern. But because it's in an attractive sector, as I'm talking of, which, this China plus one factor also playing out in their favor. So I think definitely stay invested with what you have, but as I said, just keep tracking results and news flow, etc. Around the stock. But as I said, I think that he's in a good stock.
Guys, we're almost completely out of time on this segment, so I'm still going to fit in one last question because I promised that I would take this. Shushrit has got a question on IOC and he's got 1,200 shares, Kunal, of IOC, bought at levels of 82. He's looking to hold for a year, but he's also asking, should he book partial profits and move to something else for better prospects?
So yes, I think if it's specifically towards say 1 year kind of a time horizon, then I believe that it's better that you try and book out partial profits over here and look to venture into something else. I believe that there are far better stocks which can give you very strong kind of returns and more durability as well. Even if the market gets into a bit of volatility, IOCs and such other names, they tend to be very, very low beta and they have their own sort of trend, irrespective of the market. So purely on that aspect, I would suggest maybe a partial profit booking, if not more. For an alternative, I would suggest that you can look at maybe looking at Manappuram Finance as a buy. Stock looks attractive on the charts, and I think from the next 6 months to 1 year kind of a time frame, we could look at even a potential target of 200 odd.
All right, and with that, we come to the end of our query segment, but time for high risk and low risk ideas. And Sharmila, I'll come first to you. What are your ideas for the viewers today?
Well, I'm going with two buys, but both are sort of slightly high risk, given the fact that market is a bit range bound. The first is Titan. I think that this could be a good sort of economy opening up trade because I think that given the fact that a lot of functions, marriage functions, etc., you are seeing restricted number of people allowed, etc. So the one thing that people will continue to spend on will be jewelry. So they will benefit from that. And also the fact that hallmarking has now been made compulsory. So I think come end of August, this is sort of going to come fully into force, and a player like Titan will definitely benefit from that. So Titan would be the first, my first idea. The second idea again is a sort of an open up trade, which is Tata Motors. We saw numbers from them yesterday, and in every category, their numbers reported for the month of June have been very strong. So that again seems to indicate that the way things are and the demand that one is seeing, especially outside sort of passenger vehicles, in the other type of commercial vehicles and light commercial vehicles, etc. That bodes really very well from an economy perspective and for Tata Motors. And also I think their global presence, we are seeing good numbers. So Tata Motors would be the other stock. Yes, so Titan and Tata Motors would be the two stocks that I'm going with.
Okay, Kunal, coming to you on your high risk and low risk ideas.
So two buy calls, Alex. The first one which I'm suggesting is a Bharat Forge looks attractive on the charts and heading towards yet another fresh swing high breakout. So would suggest a buy with 810 as a target and stop us at 760. And the second would be a buy on Delta Corp. Now from the mid cap, and this looks attractive. The stock is forming multiple bullish patterns, swing breakouts on the daily charts, flag pattern kind of a breakout on the daily time frame as well. So looks attractive for a target potential of at least 200, 205 range for Delta Corp as well. Stop us to be kept at 183 for this trade.
All right, and that was the high risk, low risk ideas coming in from both of our experts. On that note, thank you, Kunal, as well as Sharmila, for joining us on Buy Now, Sell Now, giving us your take on what stocks should investors look at, and also resolving all the viewer queries. And on that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. But stay tuned, more on the other side, so don't go anywhere.
New Jaguar F-Pace, hard to forget.